We've got more news on Kona Blue and a lot more, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, here is what Ross Coulthard had to say.
Well, look, it does sound sci-fi, but I can tell you there are people inside the Defense Department, former and serving, who do believe that the claims made in the Kona Blue documents were authentic. But that's vigorously disputed, of course, by the URO, the Pentagon's U.A.P. investigation team. They did their historical review and published a few weeks ago, and they said, yes, there was this codename Kona Blue program that was proposed, never implemented, but proposed as a special access program, one of the deepest, darkest secrets in the US government. And they claim at URO that, of course, they investigated and they found no evidence to support claims of retrieved non-human technology. All I can tell you, Elizabeth, is that we now have a very clear difference of opinion inside the Defense Department and also inside the intelligence community. Because one of the things that's conspicuous, ever since that Arrow historical report was published a few weeks ago, which refuted Kona Blue's documents and said that there was nothing in the whole program, the allegations were based on false premises. What's been conspicuous is that the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the intelligence czar that was appointed post 9/11 to centralize and control intelligence in the United States, they haven't backed the Pentagon's claims in the Arrow report.
Have they contradicted them, or are they just not commenting?
They're just not commenting. And it's very interesting because I'm told there is a split between the intelligence community and the Defense Department. The Pentagon's decided to bluff it out and go it alone. There are people who are passionately of the view that there is authentic, recovered, non-human technology in the possession of the United States.
Well, of course there is, and it's really interesting what he says. Could this be the explanation why it was Arrow that released the Kona Blue documents? Because they had already refuted the very foundation of the idea of UFO crash retrievals in the Arrow report, and thus that's why they thought it was safe to release the Kona Blue documents. You know, it's still a puzzle how these got released and why. Is it misdirection? Is it misinformation? Or are there some pro-disclosure elements that are trying to get the truth out? And here's another interesting question and answer.
Is it possible that David Grush might have conflated? I mean, was it Kona Blue that he was talking about, or was he talking about a completely different program?
I'm sure the Pentagon would love you all to believe that David Grush is a deluded person who has no idea what he's talking about. And that's certainly the line they're pushing at the moment. What I can tell you is that there is an abundance of independent, objective witnesses who back what David Grush says to the hilt.
Yeah, and his 40-plus whistleblowers or witnesses, many of them seem to have been direct participants in the UFO crash retrieval and reverse engineering program, so unlikely to conflate this with Kona Blue that never got off the ground. Meanwhile, Patterns Tell Stories says this: the Kona Blue documents suggest UFO encounters may be observations of psychophysical processes, and makes the point that Jacques Vallée has been saying this forever. And here's the relevant quote: based on identification of possible advanced technological, including psychophysical processes being observed. And it goes on. I'll let you read the full thing. Psychophysical, that is really interesting. Now, are we talking about the human mind or consciousness interacting with the phenomenon? Are we talking about co-creating UFO events and other anomalous events? What exactly do you think that means? The Kona Blue documents also describe the hitchhiker effect. The DHS Kona Blue SAP documents describe the hitchhiker effect as continuing effects after being exposed to phenomena. Very interesting, and so that once again supports the idea that this is coming out of OSAP in their study of Skinwalker Ranch. However, at another point in the research in Kona Blue, I came across the idea that it was Homeland Security that killed Kona Blue, not the CIA, which is the story that we've heard about OSAP's own attempt to get a UFO retrieval or at least a study program going. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, regarding the ongoing drama between David Grush and the lovely Dr. John Kirkpatrick, here's a great take from Tom Thompson. From my perspective, it appears that Kirkpatrick's efforts to engage with Grush in order to salvage his reputation began only after Grush had already gone public. This is despite the 3-year span of investigations in a whistleblower complaint that had been previously validated by the ICIG. Given these circumstances, it seems unlikely that Grush would have any interest in discussing matters with Kirkpatrick after making his allegations public and preparing to testify under oath. There were also rumors suggesting that Arrow had been encouraging individuals to sign non-disclosure agreements following discussions, which, if true, could be considered unethical. Moreover, the situation appears to be more complex than initially perceived. Indeed, it does. Indeed, it does. And so, yeah, I think that Arrow, or Sean, the lovely Sean, reaching out to David could indeed be to salvage Sean's reputation, or at least to put possibly the cover-up on David. And the reason David didn't want to meet with him, possibly, theoretically, was to prevent that cover-up from, covering up his story. I don't know about you, but all this drama makes me want to just sit down and take it easy and put my feet in the water. Maybe just chill out, get a little foot bath going. But not here. That octopus is very interested in that foot bather. Oh my gosh. Check that out. Oh, she's petting him. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Got a friendly octopus. Maybe they're friends. That is wild, guys. That is wild. Check it out. Meanwhile, Bill Nelson talks about how they won't go to the backside of the moon, but China will.
And we're trying to get at what's the Chinese are doing, you think, on the backside of the moon. Do you have any insights in that?
They are going to have a lander on the far side of the moon, which is the side that's always in dark. We're not planning to go there.
And why not? And what's the benefit of doing so?
We don't know what's on the backside of the moon, so that would be something that they would discover. But our decision is that it's more profitable for us to go to the south pole of the moon because we think that's where the water is.
So why do you think they made that decision? I'm curious.
I have no idea.
Yeah, they don't want to go to the backside of the moon because they don't know what's there. But aren't they explorers? Wouldn't they want to find out what's on the backside of the moon? Also, the backside of the moon is not in perpetual darkness. That's not true. I don't know why he said that. Does he think that we believe that? Is that what he thinks, that we think about the moon? Okay, so yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. But yeah, there are so many stories, from people like Ingo Swann and Carl Wolf about there being alien structures on the moon, specifically on the backside of the moon. Has China found those structures? Do they want to go back? Is that driving their interest in the dark side of the moon? What is scaring NASA away from the dark side of the moon? Very interesting exchange here. Let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, Tucker Carlson on Joe Rogan talking about UFOs, in particular the spiritual component of UFOs. The prophet Ezekiel writes about it in the first chapter. Wheels in the sky. These are spiritual phenomenon. There's no evidence they're from another planet. The atmosphere is really well monitored, both for military, for defense reasons, but also because, it would be nice to know when asteroids are coming. There's no evidence, has never been any evidence, that there are lots of these objects, these vehicles coming into our atmosphere from somewhere else, some other planet. There's no evidence of that at all. Well, there's many witnesses and experiencers who have interacted with the beings, and the beings have told them they're from another planet and even shown them where, and some have even been taken to other planets or other dimensions. So there is that body of evidence. I would dispute that with Tucker. But it is interesting that more and more people are talking about the spiritual element to UFOs. I know the truth of that from my own experience. So, I think there is some there. The phenomenon does seem to be largely, or, a big part of it, let's say, is more metaphysical or consciousness based or other dimensional. So there is some truth to that. But I am uncomfortable with the religious overlay that people might be putting on this, talking about specifically, Christian angels and demons and stuff like that. I don't think the religious overlay is very helpful. Looking at it in terms of metaphysics and consciousness and even spirituality, that actually might be helpful because that seems to be the case in some part of this. And, that would allow you to understand it and interact with it better if you understood it. But looking at it through a lens of religion, from my own point of view, isn't helpful, but let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, is this the face of Bigfoot? The face of Nefatia, the clearest face shots of a Sasquatch person publicly known. Smiling shot was first. I put both shots together to show the difference. No, they're not masks. Yes, they're real. 10 years of contact with a mountain of supporting evidence. And this is from Sasquatch, Ontario. And these are apparently two pictures put together. Am I understanding that correctly? And one of them appears to be smiling. They said the smiling one. Is that supposed to be a smile right there? I'm not seeing a smile here, guys. Let me know if you're seeing a smile. There is a one that's a little clearer here. Let's see. There we go. It's brightened so you can see it a little better. I mean, those could be masks, guys. I mean, that could be a total prop. I'm not seeing anything that makes me think, yeah, that's a Sasquatch. But, I mean, what do I know? What do I know? I am not a Sasquatch expert. Mask in real life. Well, you're going to demonstrate mask
material of the metal.
Yeah, okay. I mean, there are some really good masks out there. There sure are. Are you guys seeing a smile? And do you think this is actually a Bigfoot? Last but not least, from David Haith, breaking down this video right here, Malcolm Bell's Thunderstorm Generator. Very interesting technology. And he breaks it down saying, another demo of the Thunderstorm Generator demonstrating transmutation of carbon nasties to pure oxygen. The science is now peer-reviewed in Nature here. And here is the scientific article you can read at nature.com. It means every car could clean up rather than pollute the atmosphere. A climate change breakthrough. Well, that would be a breakthrough. I look forward to that getting implemented, David. I sure hope it does in a whole lot more besides. But let me know what you think about that and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member, because channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.